Ron James, a favorite son of Canadians coast to coast, will be appearing at the Bluma Appel Theatre tomorrow night, November 28th. And the good news is that this award winning guy will be available at home too. Tickets to the live stream show are on Eventbrite. And how you do that is you go to ron-james.eventbrite, and Bright is BRITE.com. And it'll be available for 24 hours from the start of the show at 7:30 on Friday. And then just get ready for the laughs. The view from here is a uniquely Canadian view on a world that's spinning out of control, I would suggest. And it's seen from our side of the fence of a next door neighbor we once knew. Ron, thanks for pausing on your busy schedule, taking a few minutes with us.
That's always a pleasure to talk to you, buddy.
Well, this is your 11th stand-up comedy special. And, when we look around, my gosh, there's no lacking of subject matter out there. How on earth did you decide what should go in the show?
Good question. Clearly, there had to be an awful lot of content on the fact that the great American experiment blew up in the lab a year ago and outmarched the Tangerine Genie. It's definitely our relationship with a neighbor we once knew, now under the rule of a tyrannical dictator who's made cruelty his currency and kindness worthless. And it's imperative that we join forces to defend ourselves, which is the really unique thing, because we've never been, that, flag wavers, so to speak, other than the F. Trudeau and F. Carney flags that were flying during the last election. I saw one of those on the back of a truck, along with a set of fake testicles swinging off the back bumper. And I remember seeing that and thinking, you see a set of fake nuts on a bumper, you can be certain there's a real dick behind the wheel. Sorry, did you lose any viewers on that, or watchers? Anyway, those toxic fumes of populism have blown north. But what's wonderful is that it's galvanized our patriotic mojo from coast to coast. I mean, even secessionist Quebec is on board. When's the last time they were this pro-Canadian? Never.
Yeah.
Right, and it's a unique period in our history. And to turn the economic engines around and move away from a codependence, almost an addiction, really, with 80% of our trade being there to America. Now we're in our rehab phase and stretching out to the east instead of the south. But it's also, the special is also about getting older, the view from here. It covers that. I'm 68 at the end of January, and for a boomer who once moved with his other tribe of boomers during the bulletproof days of youth, mortality has become the new reality. And we're losing people we love, parents, friends. The bug has taken far too many too soon. And it's a matter of trying to put that in perspective too. And I think the threat from south of the border, as well as the chaos that seems to still have sustained itself in this post-pandemic world. I mean, look, we've got a rise in measles. Measles is back, man. And because people don't want to take the vaccinations because you don't know, they'll say, you don't know what they put in it. I said, have you read the back of a jar of coffee, mate? Just peppered with chemicals. And come on, man. I mean, it's how can you deny science? It took us 240 years to find a cure for malaria, and we found a cure for COVID in less time than it takes Rogers to answer the phone when your cable's out. So, well, look, it's trying to connect the dots in all this chaos we're walking through so we can process the trauma of it in the language of laughs.
Well, there's lots to choose from, not only in Canada and the U.S., but around the world. And I'm wondering, when you're developing a show like this, Ron, do you find it difficult to keep it to 90 minutes?
Yeah, my tour in Nova Scotia, I mean Atlantic Canada, I was in every province. Most of the shows came in at 2 hours or more. I was trying to break in new stuff, and then when you break in new stuff, you'll give it a couple of, you know, good college tries, and okay, that thing worked, that one didn't. Okay, put some new stuff in. So it kept building and building. And but this particular streaming special, because of the union extra charges at the theater, I have to keep it to 90 minutes, and it has to be tight. Uh, so, um, and I have to hit all my marks.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use monitors. I'll have monitors in the theater for the shooting of the special since I'm streaming it. But when I'm on the road, it's just, I mean, you're just cutting and pasting on the spot, and it's exciting. It really is. It's a high wire act, and I actually am a little trepidatious about using the monitors. I haven't used them in a long, long time, and I'm used to just going out there and flying by the seat of my pants, man.
But
But I'll line all my notes up backstage on 3 to 4 banquet tables, and I'll walk them, right? And I've learned I guess about the last 10 years on the road that a couple of small Red Bulls just aren't for 20-something snowboarders.
well,
Yeah.
it's funny as you talk about this dealing with the monitors. I was sat at the curling club yesterday with a bunch of guys, and I was telling them we were going to have this conversation, and it was really interesting because not only were there smiles around the table
Oh, nice.
because they think of you so
Oh,
warmly,
thank you. Thank you.
but there were memories of you going
Oh,
back 30 years.
oh, really?
Yes, yes,
Where
and
at Second City?
that was quite astounding to me.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and one of the chaps asked me a question. He said, "I wonder, does Ron get butterflies before he goes on?"
Oh, I'm nervous here. I'm nervous with this show. I don't get butterflies with my live shows because I know that I've got a wealth of material that I can land on. That if one bit doesn't work, boom, 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 I've got something else that I can drop in. But because this is so tightly scripted, and because I'm within the 90 minutes, I can't take those tangents unless they're written into the script. And right. And so and I don't want to repeat. I've got a few jokes in there that people may have seen me do on stage. But the intention of this is to break into America, to sneak in through the back door, so to speak, because one of my Trump rants went viral in the wintertime on Midas Touch on YouTube, and it's had close to 2.5 million views. And so, because my days of crossing the border are over, until the Orange Mutant meets his maker.
Yeah, I kind
I
of thought that this show might put a real spike into your ability to get through uh, the border
Oh
patrol.
no, it's been there forever. I mean, ever since ICE and Christy Nome stormtroopers started guarding the border, I'm persona non grata. I mean, all it takes is for them to look at my feed for a second, and I'd be pistol whipped, black bagged, and wake up cleaning latrines in Alligator Alcatraz.
You
Game over.
in the notes about your show, Ron, it
Yeah.
talks about the struggling everyman. Do you see yourself as a spokesman for the struggling everyman?
Well, I think so. I mean, it's I don't want to get you know egotistical about the whole thing or anything, but look, Canadian show business is not a given. I've got a great producer for my live tours, Terry McRae, The landscape out there is so glutted with acts. After 2008, every top comedian's manager in the States said, "Oh, there's a country above us. No one's buying tickets here because we're in a recession. But, Canada, I mean, we've only got 40 million people here. And I do the entire country every 2 years. And you have to bring them new content. I was 2 weeks on the other side of Jerry Seinfeld in St. John's, Summerside, and Sydney a few years ago. You're competing with guys online too, with acts online. You're competing with dead guys whose acts are online, on TV, on YouTube. You're being measured against the best in the world. And 30 years ago, when was it 30? No, gee whiz, 30. What am I saying? 36 years ago now, when I came back from Los Angeles. No, was it 36 or 35? Whatever. I moved into stand up from acting, and I wanted to make it work in Canada. And I used to book myself for the first 3 years when I was trying to get out of the clubs because I knew that feudal existence would never feed my family. And then Terry McRae, my producer, and I started breaking trail in Canada playing soft seaters. And there was nobody on the road then. Nobody was playing soft seaters because the administrators didn't want to hire stand ups because they said, oh, we had some stand ups in town last year and they were so filthy, blue axe, that we don't want to have stand up anymore. And I would say to them, listen, if you see a band and you don't like their music, do you stop listening to music? And so it was this constant, just sort of pushing against the door.
Yeah.
And now, right, I mean, we were trailblazers in that respect. And he'd already had a pedigree in music for 20 years, booking John Prine and Don McLean and Jerry Jeff Walker, everybody and anybody. He had a great reputation and still does.
Yeah.
And so, uh, yeah, you have to continue to give the audience an honest bang for their buck because there's so much choice. But here's the thing. United States has 375 million people. You can have half that country disliking your act and still have almost 7 times the population of Canada buying a ticket to see your show. So, struggling everyman? Yeah, I guess so. We beat every bush. I mean, don't get me wrong. Uh, this career has enabled me to have this nice condo. I had my series for 5 years and all my specials, so it has given me comforts that for the first 20 years, when I didn't know where a buck was coming from, with a family to feed and a mortgage to pay, I've never forgotten those years. I mean, it just seems like yesterday. I remember I had Up and Down in Shaky Town on, I did it on CBC Radio, my first one-man special. And I mounted it at CBC, I think. And I put it up in 94 and I recorded it for Definitely Not the Opera in 96. And someone down there said, oh, you should get 500 cassettes made and sell them when you're doing stand-up at your shows. And the club scene was very lean in Canada because I didn't play yucks. There was only one real independent club in those days, and that was in Winnipeg, uh, a notoriously wholesale town, as they said. So I never, anyway, I had 500 cassettes. And one Christmas, I biked them around to try to sell to independent bookstores years ago, before Christmas. And I sold 5 cassettes to this store that was called Pages that used to be on Queen Street West. He bought 5 cassettes and some other places too. And I went around after Christmas. I used to cycle the auditions and things, voice auditions, and I went into Pages and I saw that there were 4 cassettes still on the counter. And I said to the guy behind the counter, I said, well, at least we sold one of them. And he reaches under the counter. He said, nah, I just kept this one for myself.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, you never forget the struggle,
Yeah.
ever,
Yeah.
ever, ever. And it can be tomorrow. I mean, this show in Toronto is costing me all kinds of money to mount. I've never had a corporate sponsor on my poster. I've never affiliated myself with a company, whether I'm touring with Shantaro or here, to lessen the impact of my bottom line. And, you know, given the numbers of Red Bull I've drank on the road the last 15 years, maybe I should give them a call, but I don't think I'm their demographic somehow. I'd like to look into that. But yeah, and there's no pension when you're self-employed. That's a reality
Yeah.
that isn't very present in your mind when you're just starting out in your 20s and 30s. You just want to actualize your calling and something you think you could be good at. And now you go, okay, no pension. All right, I better keep working. But there's the other thing too about the work. Much like here you are, in radio and still, and you love the work. It's the life force. It's something that gives you a sense of purpose, and it allows me as well as the audience to make sense of all this chaos. Unfortunately, you have to ingest an awful lot of the madness in order to um, expel it as humor.
Yeah.
But that's okay. The only thing that's getting tiring is the driving and the road and the hotels, right? And but then when I think of the early years going around the tip of Lake Superior, playing Frozen Sentinels of Gitchy Goomy in February, staying in Motel Highway Shaggin' Shacks Norman Bates wouldn't run. Right? I remember they had complimentary coffee. I took a sip of one of those complimentary coffees and thought, dear God, if this is a compliment, my wake up call must be a kick in the nuts. So, but it's how you look at the journey too. Yeah, this is one of the things that those 3 years in Los Angeles knocked out of me because I went down there to chase the sitcom Grail. We had a series that was created at Second City and it was canceled. And then I was out of work, and the three of us who stayed amongst the cast of seven that initially went, I mean, it was a real struggle. And we all came back in different states of, you know, uh, financial despair. And I mean, I got audited one year by by the IRS down there the year that I made $37,000. They audited me because, man, the H&R Block accountant I got at the local mall forgot to put a decimal in the right place.
Oh dear.
Yeah, yeah. But 37,000 bucks. I remember thinking, oh yeah, I guess I'm the cause of the collapse of the aerospace industry in Southern California. That comedian who's floating on the poverty line. But chasing that American dream sired my Canadian one, because I learned down there that you get out of life what you put into it.
Yeah.
And just waiting for the phone to ring with news of an audition that I would either get or not get wasn't any way to have control of my life. And other than an agent that I've had here who was absolutely hopeless, right? Here for the last, I dropped them about a year ago. After COVID, I said, maybe I'll get back into the pool again of acting, and hopeless. So I've nurtured relationships
Yep.
uh, with a director that I've had for a long time, who I worked with about 7 years ago, I believe. Had a nice role and small role, but still substantial in the last film that Burt Reynolds did. And now, the 1st of January, I'm working with him again, and I'm shooting a film in Iceland.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
starring Matthew Modine, believe it or not.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
a
and
name from the
so
past.
yeah. Well, he was one of the stars of Amazing. Is that it? Amazing Things? Is that the series? Is it the sci-fi homage to Spielbergian? Anyway, it's been running for about 8 years, and he's in that. He was in. He worked with Kubrick and has done all
That's
kinds of
great.
work to the mob, and so I've been working with him, and it's a nice little film, magical realism, and that's exciting.
Yeah.
That because an agent, basically what they do in Canada is answer the phone, right? They'll throw your name out to places, and if you got the right look for it, and I just didn't want to make a living or try to make a living doing those incipient Hallmark movies where, two Aryans fall in love at Christmas time.
Oh, they're terrible.
Oh my God, they're terrible, and I'd be cast as, cranky farmhand, the grandfather. There you go. And so, there's, yeah, so it's been, as I was about to say, it's all about the journey, not the grail at
Yeah.
the end of the.
Yeah.
And this is a
Well,
long way of explaining what you've asked me about the struggling everyman. Everybody in my industry who answers this calling and is in it for the long haul learns over time that it's all about enjoying the journey because very, very, very few um, are anointed and appointed with that stereotypical grail of fame and fortune.
mm. Well, I know the show Friday night is pretty well sold out at the theater,
It's
down
coming
to
close.
down to the last few tickets. But the wonderful part of it is you've got this live stream,
Yeah,
so your fans in Canada and in the U.S. can
all over the
access it.
place.
Yeah, you'll
I've
be
got a
out of
family of six in Uzbekistan tuning in.
you'll be out of the beating heart of Toronto, but in the living rooms all over uh, Canada, U.S.
Toronto,
and
prostate at the altar of celebrity,
yeah,
as long as you're a celebrity somewhere other than here. As I say to people, celebrity is an oxymoron in Canada. For me, it just means I'm drinking for free north of the tree line. And but yeah, it's exciting, right? And and that's embracing this new world. Because, quite frankly, the only direction any Canadian network wants to see a man with white eyebrows walking is out the door, unless you're already in there with a strong foundation you've worked hard for and preserved. But I've not been back there for to the Mother Corps for almost 10 years.
yeah,
But I still stayed, uh, I still stood at the plate and continued to swing for home runs as best I could because I love the work. But this streaming is exciting, and
yeah,
I think it's going to cost $10, and you can go to Eventbrite to find that out. And it's at 7:30 on Friday, and I've got the team who shot my specials are going to be filming this, and produced by the indomitable and hardest working woman in Canadian showbiz, Lynn Harvey. And I'm working with three buddies who I write with, Thomas Conway, Chris Finn, and Paul Pogue. And yeah, I mean, and another cool thing, we get to sit together again in a room, and it's really good for your mental health. I wrote with Chris and Paul. I believe you interviewed me then during COVID when I was doing live from my living room shows.
right.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, Jill Spitz is the publicist, and Keith Tomasek, my IT guy, who did those shows from here, is exemplary at his craft. And I'm so blessed to have a team of this caliber and such, I mean, lifelong friends to work with. And that's, I mean,
Gives you a
it's
sense
a
of
collateral
confidence.
for the soul, right?
Yeah,
Soul's collateral. And I miss that an awful lot. To go to which I'm going to right after this, to go back to a room again and be with people all sailing the ship in the same direction and to have
marvelous.
their patience with me too. I mean, I'm attention deficit hyperactive disorder, and they're always saying to me, remember to save the document, Ron, save the document. We're working on one document. Save it. Save it. Very, very patient.
I figured it would take a tight team to put the nuts and bolts together because
Yeah, it
it's
does, you know.
complex.
Yeah, it is complex. And I mean, I honed a portion of this material on the road, and a good portion I wrote in the summertime. And there's a lot of research that's involved too. Uh, but and my long alliterative rants, uh, when they land on a strong joke, it's so very helpful to have someone who knows your voice, understands your voice, and writes for it. As so, it's great. We're brothers in arms, man. I'm blessed
A lot of
because
people for a one-man show.
well, it is, but you need that.
Oh yeah.
All the big guys have that.
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean,
For
I'm
sure.
not trying to put myself on the same level as Gervais or Chappelle or Seinfeld and stuff, and Chris Rock, but excuse me, everybody has collaborators, and you have to turn over so much material all the time. I wrote the first five 1 hour specials myself. And it was really before social media became as permissive as it is in our society. And so you didn't have to do, you didn't have to multitask as much. You didn't have
Yeah.
to be,
Yeah.
working on Facebook, making posts there, being seen there, working on Instagram, making be seen there, sending your stories out, making that's done, writing, doing your research, then going on the road, making sure that, and I don't have anybody who takes care of me on the road because my producer goes in his car and I go in mine. And I mean, he books the hotels and he books the rooms ahead of time. But other than that, getting from A to B, it's all on me. And I've had some pretty close calls on the road. I was a year ago, December, 2 years ago, December, a year ago, December, 2 years ago, December. I was the second vehicle on a four-truck fatality in a whiteout going between Edmonton and the Trans-Canada to drive up the Saskatoon on a minus 35 day where the sky was gray and the whiteouts were left and right. And I crested this hill, and oh my goodness, it was carnage. And so that will rattle you. And then I continued to drive to Saskatoon, and the Broadway Theater in Saskatoon holds 480. It was packed 2 nights in a row in a minus 40, with the Toontowners strolling in through those doors looking like Shackleton's lost expedition. Fantastic.
Ron James,
Road,
word whipping.
as I said in my book, the road takes no prisoners and comedy doesn't suffer fools.
Hmm.
And life is all about the long haul.
Well, Ron, you're a word whipping wizard of wit, and we thank you for the belly laughs, the brain sparks, and the truth bombs, and the tongue twisting tales that tickle our Canuck cortex. You're a
Well,
national
well
treasure,
done. Well done.
you're a national treasure, my friend. Turbocharged with charm, and we wish you success. Break a leg.
Thank you very much, sir. And to all your listeners and viewers, thanks very much for tuning in. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. The view
Thanks,
from
buddy.
here is a uniquely Canadian view on a world out of whack, and I would say getting wackier, as seen from our side of the fence and of a next door neighbor that once upon a time we thought we knew. Ron James is a forever favorite of Canadians, and he'll be appearing at the Bluma Appel Theatre tomorrow night, November 28th. And the good news is that this award winning guy will be available at home too. Tickets to the live stream show are on Eventbrite. Just go to ron-james.eventbrite.com. It'll be available for 24 hours from the start of the show at 7:30 on Friday. And then get the family, gather around, and get ready for the laughs.
The GOP's become a party where hate drives debate and billionaire brutes pied pipe the white middle-aged seething masses into states of delirium, promising to rain down biblical retribution on whatever other besides themselves they can find to blame on America's woes, all the while cherry-picking quotes from Leviticus to justify their homophobic, Mexican bait and Muslim hate and gun-loving bigotry and anger as they defiantly march backwards to the foggy mists of time to the wrong side of history, looking to make America great again, whenever the hell that was.